Welcome. Just want to do a quick sound check for those of you that do enter the live stream. Can you hear me? Can you hear me well? Can you hear me at all? Just put a yes or a thumbs up if you can hear me in the chat. Perfect. All right, we're going to start in approximately 2 minutes. Going to give everybody a chance to roll in uh, and do what they got to do. I know it's a little bit of an earlier start today. So with that, it's also going to be a shorter podcast today. No guest today. We're going to have a guest next week for episode 3. And if you guys aren't aware, I am dropping these podcasts here on Instagram Live on my coach's page. And also on my YouTube. That goes by Spica's World. Currently in the midst of changing the title to that, or I might just keep it to that title. Sharing the link now. Appreciate it, Sarah. Appreciate it. But yeah, you guys can check out this podcast once I upload it on YouTube. And I'll actually drop my YouTube channel name in the comments below. But again, we have 1 minute until start time, so I'm gonna let you guys hang in there. And I'm gonna allow everyone else to go ahead and join the live stream link. So 1 minute. Actually, I'll give them about like 2-3 minutes. So we'll start a little after 3. So send this out to everyone you know, athletes included, coaches as well. And we'll start in a few minutes. I see a lot of people starting to roll in. We're going to start in approximately 1 minute. Approximately 1 minute till start time. Just make sure you guys go ahead and share this out to any athletes you know, volleyball and non-volleyball. We're going to get started in approximately 1 minute. So make sure you guys send this out to everyone you know. And we're going to rock and roll in a few. All right, it's approximately 3:02. And whoever else will be joining can join in the midst of the podcast. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my camera on for you guys. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Just put a thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear and see me. Put a thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear and see me. Then we're gonna rock and roll here. Rock and roll, rock and roll. Put a thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear and see me. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. Okay. Just go ahead and pull this up here. Okay, I have that. And I have that. Cool. Alrighty. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start the podcast. First things first, if you guys are new to the podcast, I am Coach Spiker, aka Coach Jared, to most of you guys. I am a young coach that coaches currently 4 teams through all 4 seasons. Right now, I'm in my men's JUCO college men's volleyball season. And we actually have a scrimmage tonight at home. So if you guys are not doing anything, I really would appreciate if you guys come and support the Union Owls of Union College of New Jersey, also known as Union County College. We have a scrimmage tonight, right before our big weekend this week, when we start up our first matches of the regular season. So currently coaching the men's program over at UCNJ. Also in the midst of that, I coach 16-year-old girls club volleyball. And we go all the way until May. Then after those 2 seasons, I start up my freshman high school boys season in March. And then I roll back around into my high school girls season, the varsity team that I coach, in August. So have a lot of volleyball coming up this year. Had a lot of volleyball last year as well. And so that's what I do. If you guys just needed a refresher, that's what I do. That's currently what I do. And today is the second episode of the In Volley We Trust podcast. Again, just a big shout out to you guys. You guys had a amazing showing last week for the podcast. So I really appreciate you guys' support with what I am doing, with the platform that I have created and the platform that you guys have supported. So I really appreciate you guys for everything that you guys did last week. We had approximately, I think, 150 viewers over the course of the podcast. I know last week was a longer one just because it was the first episode of the In Volley We Trust podcast. So again, big round of applause to you guys. I really appreciate you guys for, helping me get my name out there and spreading the wealth of volleyball and what I've learned and the things that other coaches are allowing me to give to you guys as well. So again, big appreciation to you guys last week. With that was one heck of a first episode. And this second episode, like I said, we have no special guests this week. We will have one next week. And just for you guys that are new to the podcast, I want you guys to understand that with this podcast, I want to be able to give coaches and players a platform as well. So we will have some coaches, we will have some players, but I like to switch it up every now and again just to give volleyball a bigger purpose and a bigger voice, and different perspectives of volleyball and playing histories and coaching histories and careers and things like that. But today we have a newer topic. We have some new topics that I wanted to get into. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and put this mic right here on my shirt. Don't want to hold that all of the podcast. Perfect. We'll just leave it right there. But yeah, so today we're gonna get into some different topics. as opposed to last week. Again, it's going to be a shorter podcast this week. And let's get rocking and rolling. Again, send this out to everyone you know. And again, I will be posting this on YouTube, and I will leave the link at the end of this podcast. I'll drop the link for you guys. That way you guys can watch and tap in, send it to whoever you need, and yeah. So without further ado, let's dive into the first topic that I wanted to talk about this week, and that is the men's Division One volleyball world. Now I don't know how many of you guys keep up with the men's volleyball realm of things, because I know the women's is just surging, and honestly, I'm not mad about it at all. I mean, personally, I don't know how you guys out there feel, but I personally love watching the women's volleyball game as opposed to the men's, just because, like many would say, women's volleyball is a lot more strategical. It's a lot more it's a lot more strategical. It's a lot more defensively and fundamentally sound. And there are a lot more rallies that happen in the women's volleyball world and realm. And that's kind of something that I really love about watching women's volleyball. Um, and now, as we get into the year 2025, women's volleyball is definitely catching up to men's volleyball in the sense of intensity and play style and things like that. Because again, I don't know if you guys watched the championship, the NCAA championship with the women's over the winter and fall, but you had some high flyers, you had some big blocks, you had some crazy defensive plays, you got some crazy serves that are getting added into the women's game as well. You have the jump float, which is a crazy serve that I like to teach my college guys to pick up, because especially with all that movement and the pace that you put behind the ball, it's definitely a harder ball to pass. I saw a lot of top spins in the women's game as well in this past season. And top spins is our bread and butter as men collegiate athletes, men pro athletes, and things like that. Yes, sir. The Cards really did their thing, man. I'm a big Cards fan. Louisville Cardinals. We just fell short. But we did have a not career ending, but we definitely had a tragic injury with Anna DeBeer in that match prior. I still say to everyone that we would have won, but I never will take the credit away from the Penn State Nittany Lions. They had a tremendous season last year. Last season rather, because it just happened. And a lot of people, they counted them out along with us, the Louisville Cardinals, and both programs definitely put on for their own purposes, bigger than volleyball, and they showed out on the biggest stage, somewhere that we all want to be. But yes, the Cardinals definitely did their thing. We were just like, honestly, one of our best teams we've had in a long time. I've been keeping up with the Cardinals since 2021. It wasn't as heavy as it is now, as you guys obviously see my social media page and stuff like that. I definitely am a huge Cardinals fan now. But yes, we did a very good job. We had some very great hitters. We had a very great senior class that had left us. And honestly, there's nothing more you can ask for from a group like that. And like that, you make it all the way there and you just fall short, and it happens in sports. But it's not about where you ended up. It's about how you overcome where you ended up from the prior season. And I definitely have high hopes for them next season, with the work that, Coach Danny Busman Kelly and Coach Dan Meske, my good friend, is putting in with the girls during this off season, and the spring season is right around the corner. So, definitely a big shout out to the Louisville Cardinals and Coach Dan Meske and Coach Danny Busman Kelly. Really looking forward to getting out to some of you guys' spring matches as well. And yeah, but again, there was a lot of women's programs that really just like amazed me. As much as I disliked them because they were going against my Louisville Cardinals, University of Pitt had a phenomenal season last year, and they just ended up falling short to us, which was definitely big for my Louisville fans out there. But yeah, they were a great program, honestly, great program. They're coached very well, and nothing really bad I could say about their program. Honestly, they made noise and they proved themselves in the biggest stage. SMU is another one. They were a sleeper team and they came out of the woodworks. Um, GCU was a great team. Oregon was a great team. I was a real fan of Ole Miss during the tournament. They had a really big upset win against I forget. I think what was it, Florida State. That was a crazy game, and I'm starting to become a fan of Ole Miss. They have a lot. UNI. You're right. UNI. Yep. And they did their thing. I'm starting to become a fan of Ole Miss a little bit, just to see what they got cooking up for this next season. But they did a phenomenal job as well. There were a bunch of teams, honestly, man, that just really like raised the bar high. Yeah, SMU, like I said, UNI, they did their thing. Ole Miss, they did their thing. There were a lot of sleeper teams this year that really pushed that envelope. And I really suggest that you guys really tap in with women's volleyball this year. Texas is always a good program. I'm just thinking of teams that are coming to me. Hawaii did really well in their playoffs. I think what their Big West playoffs. They did really well. But yeah, there's a lot of teams. University of Miami, they did amazing numbers this year too. And the names just like go on and on and on. UNI, yeah, UNI, man, we can't sleep on them. They almost took us out. That was what was that? The first round, second round, they almost took us out. So again, doesn't really matter who the team is. I like to this kind of shifts into my next topic. I like to tell a lot of my players that it doesn't matter about what this team is or who you guys think they are. Yep, I see you in a few. I see you in a few. Um, I always tell my athletes it's one day. First team to 75 points if you're playing college. Um, and it really just only takes one day to beat a team, and especially to beat a great team at that. One day, one off day from a team that's been cooking. You never know what you could do, but you always have to make sure that you have a new day, new team mentality, and that's to go out there and be a dog. Be a dog. Be a better dog than you were the day before. 5 sets are coming to Jersey come next season. I'm ready for it. I'm definitely ready for it. Athletes, you better be ready for it because this is for the men's and women's game as well, boys and girls game as well. 5 sets is definitely coming to the East Coast, specifically Jersey, in 2026. So that starts this girls' season coming up. However, though, with that, there still is a choice. Like I remember they were going to implement the choice this past season, but next season they are adding it. But you still get the choice of whether or not you want to go to 5 sets, or let's say you want to and the other coach doesn't, then you go back to the old 3 set best of 3 set win. So I'm definitely looking forward to that 5 sets in high school because I just feel like it prepares young girls and boys for that college level of volleyball, whether it's Division 3, 2, or 1. But again, yeah, really tap into the women's volleyball game if you guys haven't already. And with that being said, going into the men's volleyball side of things, we got some ABCA rankings here that I want to just go over briefly with you guys, and you guys can comment if you want. This is going to be a more interactive podcast today. So if you guys have anything, and then we'll do a little Q&A session towards the end. Go right ahead for it. But we have some ABCA rankings here for the men's volleyball season. And this was updated as of January 27th, so that was just Monday, if I'm not mistaken. At number one, you have Long Beach State. Um, and again, Long Beach State, they, if you haven't been watching Division One men's volleyball, you really should because they have this. He's 18 now. He's 18-year-old setter by the name of Simeon Nikolov, and he is just something to watch. If I do say so myself, LBSU all the way. Yeah, I definitely agree, hands down. That was gonna be my next thing because I am a UCLA Bruin myself. Didn't go there, but I am a big fan of UCLA since high school of 2018. When they had Micah Ma, Kofi Jimma, Dylan Misery, all those guys. And then that's when Long Beach had TJ DeFalco, Joshua Niga, Kyle Linsing, those guys. So that was a great year of volleyball. A lot of you guys who are younger probably don't even know those names. You probably know TJ DeFalco just because of US Team USA in the Olympics. You probably know Micah Ma because of Out of System, the group Out of System Volleyball on Instagram. But since 2016, yeah, and that was a great year of volleyball. Honestly, those were some great years. 2016, 2017, 2018. Those are some really great years of volleyball. And I don't know, a lot of you guys probably don't even know those names, but that was a great year of volleyball. And if you don't know those names, you should definitely get to know those names. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But at number one, we do have Long Beach. At number two, we have UC Irvine. Now UC Irvine, they're currently 5-0, with Long Beach being 6-0. UC Irvine is definitely a team that you guys want to keep your eyes on this season. They beat was that no, that wasn't UCI, but they beat a couple of ranked opponents this past couple weeks. With it being the start of this new season. And they're also really showing that they're not playing any games this year. They are definitely a team to watch. They've been really good in the past couple years. But yeah, they're definitely up one. I'm not gonna lie. But UCI, definitely keep your eyes on them. I have to do a little bit more. Yeah, that's what it was. Yep, that's what it was. UCI beat BYU. That was a crazy match, and they kind of handled them. They handled them pretty well. Yeah, they're always a pretty good team. I'm not gonna lie. They definitely, they definitely, they definitely do a good job every year. They've had their runs in the tournament as well, but they always just usually fall short, and it's just unfortunate because they do have a really good program with a really good coach. And yeah, shout out to UCI. At number three, we have the UCLA Bruins. We were new look UCLA Bruins this year. With the past 2 years going back to back in the national tournament, we are definitely a new look Bruins this year. Which I still am very confident in, and they're really looking solid this year. But we'll see what our matchups are looking like when we go up against Long Beach State and UC Irvine. But again, we've won a good chunk of our matches so far. At the number three ranking, being 4-1. Our one loss being to, I want to say that was Ball State that we lost to. It was either Ball State or USC. It was one of the red schools. I gotta do some more like paying attention to these men's games. I've been like in and out of them, but we lost to a lower seed, still a ranked opponent, but it really just gives us a little bit of a insight on what these other teams have to bring because it's so early. At number four, we have Hawaii. Now, I don't know. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. For my people that are more tapped in with the men's game than I am, Hawaii didn't really surprise me this year. I mean, they are definitely a weaker Hawaii team than they have been in the past years. But with them being number four, it really does shock me Just because if I could be honest, I didn't really have all of the faith in Hawaii being the Hawaii team that we have all known them to be. But at number 4 and 6-0 record, it's not really bad. Not bad at all. So shout out to Hawaii. Yeah, we kind of fumbled against Ball State, UCLA. Honestly, Hawaii has some missing chances. Okay, so I got to tap in with him then. I definitely have to tap in with Hawaii. But they're at the number 4 spot. At the number 5, we have BYU with their major transfer, Keone Dim. He's making some great noise over there as well. They're at a 6-2 record. At number 6, we have USC. USC has definitely been making some noise this year as well. With a 5-0 record, they've been looking pretty solid. I've seen clips on Instagram and things like that. But again, I have to really tap in with watching these games so I can give you guys better information, better intel. But you guys know a lot more than me. So that's even better. At number 7, we have Loyola Chicago. Now, for those of you guys who have been tapped in with volleyball from at least the year of 2016, Loyola Chicago used to be a very, very dominant program. So with them coming back in the top 10 conversation, and I'm honestly happy for them. They have a 6-0 record. At number 7, they probably just haven't played a lot of ranked opponents. GCU was at the 10th spot. I see your comment. They were at the 10th spot, but then they got knocked off. So now I do believe they sit at number 11 or 12. But number 7 is Loyola Chicago. We have at number 8 Ball State with a 5-3 record. And again, same thing with them. They're making a lot of noise this year. Number 9 goes to Stanford. Stanford's always usually good every season. They just always end up falling short, but they always usually have a good, decent program. So shout out to them. And at the number 10 spot, we have Pepperdine. And I actually have the pleasure of knowing a kid that goes to University of Pepperdine. So shout out to those boys over there in Pepperdine. Because, Pepperdine was a very high prestigious program. And again, just through the years, you get transfers, you get recruits, you get guys that graduate. These programs, it takes a lot to consistently build a dynasty when it comes to college. So, shout out to Pepperdine for, securing that number 10 spot. And yeah, these are the top 10 rankings right now as of this week. I was having Ball State from New Jersey and playing for Six Pack. Shout out to him, one Six Pack alum out of Ball State University. So that's actually major for the club down in Six Pack. So shout out to you guys. But these are just the Division 1 rankings. But with this, I wanted to talk about Division 1 volleyball. I wish a lot more of my athletes were on here to hear this, but I know a few of them are getting ready for our scrimmage in a little bit. But talking in comparison to Division 1 to Division 3. I have a lot of conversations with my male and female athletes about the comparison from Division 1 to Division 3 when it comes to athletes coming out of high school and wanting to play college. Even now, I assistant coach at a community college. Like I said in the start of the podcast, and a lot of those guys, in the beginning, they're like, "Yeah, I want to go D1. I want to go to a 4-year," things like that. But a lot of athletes don't understand what it takes to become a Division 1 athlete. So the first thing, really, when it comes to becoming a Division 1 athlete, you got to do the school aspect of becoming a student athlete and a Division 1 student athlete at that. Because if you guys don't understand, but a lot of these programs that we're talking about, like Long Beach State, UC Irvine, UCLA, Hawaii, Stanford, like school, Pepperdine, A lot of these schools are high prestigious in their academics, and they're also some of them are Ivy League, but not in the Ivy League realm, if that makes sense. Like Division 1, like we all have those dreams and aspirations of going Division 1. I even did when I was coming out of high school, but then I had to have the reality set in for me. One with my build, one with my skill, another with my grades, and the other just with being a small fish in a big pond trying to go Division 1. It's tough. But I never, ever try to shoot down Division 1 dreams from anyone. It's just if you want to be a Division 1 athlete, you gotta be a Division 1 athlete, and that starts before you even get to the Division 1 level. Division 1 is not easy of a level to get to either. I see what you said. Wish it was that easy to go D1. I mean, we all do. But when you're a 5'10" to 6'1" guy who doesn't have a crazy vertical, your shot at going Division 1, especially for men's, it's really tough. I mean, because you're seeing a lot of other guys who are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", and so on, who also are very athletic and have similar vertical strengths than you might have. So it makes the game a lot easier, and especially swinging over an 8-foot net, you got a guy who's 6'7". His jump vision is going to at least be 9 feet, at least, because when you're already that tall and you have a decent vertical, you're going to see a lot higher over the net and over blocks than you would when you're a 5'10" bouncy right side or bouncy outside. It looks good because we're so undersized, but it's a harder game to be efficient at when you're so undersized. So you really have to commit, you really have to grind, you really have to put in the work to become a Division 1 athlete, and you also have to own a different position. Because like for my athletes coming out of high school, you probably played middle blocker in high school at 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot. But let's say you go to Penn State, that coach is gonna make you a libero, or they might make you a pin hitter, right? So being 5'10" to 6 foot, middle or right side in high school, that's good. But then what happens when you want to go Division 1? I mean, I was watching a Division 1 match with my college guys about a week or so ago, and they I think it was NJIT versus GCU. Both of the liberos were the same height as me, and I'm 5'10". No, one of them was taller than me, one of them was the same height as me, and I'm a hitter. I don't play libero. Like I play with my club team now, my men's club team, but I'm still a middle right side. I mean, I have a vertical to help with that, but if I end up going to the pros, I'm gonna have to be a libero, or I'm gonna have to be outside or something, because it's just too difficult to try to outspeed every single set, every single ball in comparison to the block. So the battle that I get stuck in, and it's not really getting stuck in, it's the battle that I always have to fight, is my speed outweighs a taller blocker with them being slower. But with a taller blocker comes an easier reach when they're late on a block. Just different things like that. And I want to start picking you guys' brains a little bit about these Division 1 aspirations and dreams. So the comparison, I talked to a lot of coaches about the comparison to Division 1 and Division 3. With men's volleyball, it's just ball control, meaning high snap on top spins, high snaps on off-speed swings, smart placement, disciplined blocking, and just smart play, right? With the women's, same thing. The ball control is insane. It's even more insane at the Division 1 level when it comes to women's. Smarter play, a lot of grit and hustle, a lot of getting down and dirty, a lot of selfless plays, and a lot of girls athletes sometimes don't want to do that. And so they get the idea of going Division 1 misconstrued sometimes. Because any girl could say, oh yeah, I can go and play Division 1 because it's easy. But it's really not. right? Because I mean, I've seen girls who are skyrocketing over me with their height. So a 6'6" middle, and on the East Coast, we have a lot of undersized athletic athletes. We just aren't really blessed with the size. And in volleyball, sad to say, size is something that you need to have if you don't have athleticism or vertical or a sense of knowledge when it comes to volleyball. But then when you stoop down to the Division 3 level, which I really do not want any of you guys to knock anymore, because Division 3 level, especially with the men's volleyball circuit of things, it is skyrocketing like never before, and it's almost in comparison to Division 1. And I say that to also say that last year's Division 3 national title winner, Cal Lutheran, they collabed with UCLA over the summertime. They did a little backyard volleyball, grass volleyball, little tournament or whatever. And Cal Lutheran, some of those guys were holding their own again. And it was like Cameron Thorne on UCLA. The other guy, I just forget his name. And they were like playing. It was a small, short court backyard grass, and they were playing for fun. But I mean, like, ball control is crazy. The high snaps, right? It's really just when you're playing Division 1 volleyball, an athlete will ask you as a coach or as a player, how do I go Division 1? You got to tell them that all their mechanics and all their fundamentals have to be polished and fine-tuned before they decide to want to leave the nest and go Division 1. Would you say it is worth it still fighting her Division 1 going to judo? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that gets into my next topic after I just talk about the Division 3 realm of things. But that's a great question. I'm going to pin this. Perfect. I'm going to pin this comment for just those of you guys that roll in. Would you say it's worth it to still fight, basically to still fight for Division 1 dream while going and playing at a JUCO? JUCO, for you guys that don't know what that term means, is junior college, community college, NJCAA. Your D3s and your D2s and your D1s are NCAA. The only difference is national college. I think it's, what is it? National Collegiate Association something. I forgot the other A, and then the NJ is National Junior College Athletic Association. Oh yeah, I'm stupid. So it's National College Athletic Association and then National Junior College Athletic Association. That's the only difference. But yeah, Division 3. I played Division 3 volleyball too, and there were some teams that I saw, and I was just like, wow, like why are these teams even playing Division 3? But it comes to grades sometimes. It comes to work ethic. And it comes to money at the end of the day. Because a lot of these athletes that go Division 1, some of them don't always get a full ride to go play. A lot of them just have the grades to go do so. Like if you have a 4.0 coming out of high school and you want to go walk on to somebody's Division 1 team because you didn't get the offers that you wanted, you can go anywhere you want. Because then these high prestigious schools, these Division 1 schools, they look at your grades. They really do. As much as you guys think that they don't because they're just so good at athletics, at the Division 1 level, there are a lot of priority checks that need to be checked before playing Division 1 sports because it's a huge commitment and it's all year round. And after Division 1, it's pro for most of those guys, especially if you perform well at the collegiate level and if you play the U18s, the U19s, the U20s, the U21s, U22s, you do the NTDP, the National Training and Development Program, and all those great things, you are going to be a Division 1 athlete. How do you get those recognitions? I was going to, and it never did, and I'm still planning on doing so. I was going to take a flight out to California to go try out in Mannheim because they host a tryout every single year for collegiate athletes to try out for their collegiate national teams. You can also become a practice player, so you can get the training to be a Division 1 athlete. You can also become a B team player, an A team player, a travel player, a regional player, a national player. There's so much you can do when you try out for Team USA, period. It's not just playing for the national team. That takes time. And I'm planning on definitely trying out. if I decide to continue my playing career. And just see what happens. Because even if you become a practice player for someone's national team, you get amazing reps. Um, Same thing with Division 3. You become All American, you can play for the national collegiate team if you're that good enough. And I've seen and I had friends who've done it. So the divisions really don't matter. It really just all comes down to money when it comes to playing Division 1 to Division 3 sports. It really comes down to money, grades, work ethic, and your capability on the court as much as it is in the classroom. And if you can prioritize classroom work with athletic work, because again, you'll see like Long Beach take a trip to Penn State, and that's across the country, but they're missing a class Monday morning because they had to take a weekend trip, and they had a doubleheader where they played Penn State, and then came to Jersey and played NJIT or somebody, right? Or Princeton or something like that. They take these trips and they're missing a lot of class, and they have to, if they don't have like certain agents or managers or things like that to manage their life around volleyball and school, it's tough for these athletes to thrive, you know? So again, that's just the difference with Division 1 and Division 3. It's not answering your question. Is it still worth it to fight for a Division 1 dream while going to JUCO? Absolutely. The only thing is, my young athletes, you guys need to also get a grasp on high major, mid major, low major, Division 1 athletics. It would be the dream and a half to go to UCLA, Long Beach State, UCI, Hawaii, BYU, Penn State. It would be a dream and a half to do these things. However, you're competing against international talent. You're competing against height over heart, right? You're competing against guys who have established themselves since they were young, right? And you're also competing with national talent across the country. When you're trying to shoot for the stars and go to these high majors, these top 10, these power 10 schools, you got to kind of be realistic with yourself, right? And knowing what you want out of volleyball. Like I always tell like all my athletes, because they always say, "Hey, coach, you got more eligibility, right?" Yeah, I have 2 years of college eligibility left. Will I use it? Maybe, maybe not. But if I do use it, I told them I'm not gonna go back and play Division 3. I'm gonna go and play for somebody's Division 1 team, right? So you guys have to understand the difference and what Division 1 actually is for you, right? So would I say it's worth to still fight for Division 1? Yeah. But so we're based in Jersey, right? The Division 1 men's programs we have is Fairleigh Dickinson and Teaneck. We have NJIT and Newark. We have Princeton, right? So these are 3 schools. Then you have the neighboring schools. You have Penn State, right? You have Belmont Abbey in Albany, right? I'm trying to think here. What else do we have? There's also Virginia State, right? There's also Howard, right? There's a lot of low major Division 1 schools that a lot of people probably don't even know about, and you still get Division 1 reps. Like, I don't want guys to think, or even girls to think that, oh, because I didn't go to University of Texas, the Division 1 that I play doesn't even matter. But it does. Right? I want you to understand it really does though. I'm actually gonna pull it up right here. Right? I have a list of top 60 ranked schools in the country. Right? I actually know a young player. He goes to St. Thomas Aquinas. That's a Division 1 school. Division 1 school, St. Thomas Aquinas, right? Let's see here. DeUville. Have a former teammate of mine who plays for DeUville. Low to mid-major Division 1 school. And they're also making stepping stones to making that possible. Fairleigh Dickinson, like I said. NJIT, LIU, right? There are so many options for you guys to go Division 1. Dominican College is another one, right? And you guys just need to start widening your range of what Division 1 school you actually want to go to. You know, because there's so many Division 1 schools, and I know everyone wants to play on the national stage. However, everyone doesn't get that dream. As long as you can play Division 1, like I had one former teammate of mine and another player that I know. They both played against BYU. One goes to the Uville, and the other one goes to St. Thomas Aquinas. And just because they're not on the other side playing with BYU, they're still playing against, getting great reps against a really great team and a ranked team in the country. So you've got to ask yourself, when you guys are coming out of high school, you're coming transferring from a JUCO, you've got to ask yourself a few questions if you want to go Division 1. You got to say, do I want to be the star player on a low tier team, make a name for myself and the program itself too? Or do I want to be a nobody on a ranked team, go to the national tournament, win a national title, and make no name for myself at all because I won't see the floor until maybe my senior year, if that. But you guys got to start weighing out your options as to where you want to go and what is going to be beneficial for you in the long run. You also need to start thinking about talking and getting connected with these coaches and these programs, seeing what they have to offer you as a student, what they have to offer you as an athlete, and what they have to offer you as a person. Right? Do they have your major? Do they have great resources to allow you to study in this major? Do they have great facilities for you to get weight training and skills training on your own time along with team time? Things like that. Right? When you're feeling a little down or you're getting into those mental slumps because your team's not doing well or you're homesick or things like that, is this campus a good campus where you can call it home? You guys have to start tapping in with these different resources and these different programs to see whether or not, okay, this is the school for me, right? Because again, when I was coming out of high school, I wanted to go to UCLA just because it was my favorite school. I reached out to them. Coach reached out back to me, and he saw my film and he said, I'm a great athlete. Only thing is I'm undersized, and he would have to make me into an outside or a libero. I was 5'8" at the time. I grew 2 more inches, and I'm done now. I'm 5'10". But like, that's what I mean. I was a dominant middle blocker in high school, going against guys who are my height, a little bit taller, maximum height maybe 6'2", right? But now I'm playing at a national stage, going against national talent who are a lot better than me, who have seen a lot different volleyball than me, and I would have to really, really fight in order to see minutes on the floor. So now, if you guys ask me the question, well, do I think I could play Division 1 volleyball now? Yes. But it wouldn't have been without my Division 3 journey, right? It wouldn't be for those two things for me to say that, yeah, I can go ahead and play for anyone's Division 1 program now. It also, what also helped me too was playing semi-professional club volleyball the past 2 years, going to nationals, playing against Division 1 talent, playing against pro talent, and seeing what I had to do in order to make my spot secure on that national stage. So do I believe and think that I can play Division 1 today? Yes, I do. Will I? Who knows? But never sell yourself short, because that was one thing that I also did with trying to keep the reality of me not going Division 1 straight out of high school. I sold myself a little short with saying, yeah, no, I don't think I could play at this high level. I don't think I can play for this program. I'm not good enough. Always believe that you are good enough to play for anyone's program. Know your worth, but also know the reality of what you will be up against. Never back down from the challenge, but also understand and ask yourself, is it a challenge worth fighting for? So look for programs that are best suited for you and what you want out of your career. Do you want great reps and to be able to teach youth and to run your own program or your own club at the highest level, right? Do you want to get those good reps for that? Do you want to get those good reps to play at a semi-professional or professional level of volleyball, right? What do you want out of it? And that will tell you where your journey will go, whether it's Division 3, whether it's Division 2, whether it's Division 1. And if you want to go Division 1 for the recognition and the networking and the NIL opportunities, Division 3, you can do the same thing. It's just a little bit harder because of the national television exposure that Division 3 doesn't always get, right? So just definitely weigh out your options as to where you want to take volleyball, where you want to go next with the sport, right? Because the world is yours. The world is really yours. I don't care what anyone has to say about it. You have the keys to anything you want to do, but you just have to, in order to get the keys and turn on that car to go where it is you want to go, make sure that you have the roadmap to where you want to go. That way, when you get in the car and you use the keys of life to turn on that car, you know exactly where you're going. So I hope that helped. And this is for any sport, whether it's not just volleyball, soccer, football, basketball. Understand what you want out of the sport. And if you don't know yet, do some studying, listen to podcasts, watch different teams, watch different coaches, watch different documentaries. There's a lot of documentaries. If you guys need volleyball documentaries, there are volleyball documentaries, and I will give you guys a few actually. There's one. If you guys go on YouTube and look up McMaster, it's a Canadian team. Hopefully they can take it down because of you know what. But they are from Canada. But McMaster Volleyball, they have a great series with their men's and women's teams. They have documentaries that you can watch as well. It's McMaster College. It's a documentary on YouTube. You guys can just like type in like McMaster Volleyball documentary. It'll pop up easily. Or yeah, you know exactly what I meant. That's why he's laughing. But or you can look up TWU, the Spartans. It's another Canadian team. You guys can look up that documentary as well. Just so that you guys can really get a grasp and a grip on what these Division 1 teams are looking for. Because those are both Division 1 teams based out of Canada. So really do some studying and some researching on these things. And if you guys can't find it, just feel free to message me about those documentaries if you need it again, or if you guys end up seeing me soon, I'll show you those documentaries as well, and you guys can watch them on your own. I watched all of them to all of their entireties. They're great documentaries, and it gets you going for like game days and like just gets you hyped and pumped. So I definitely suggest you guys go watch those as well. But yeah, Division 1, man, shoot for the stars, honestly. But whatever you do, like I said, before you get there, you have to put in the Division 1 work where you are before transferring. You can't show up late at your JUCO because you know you're going to Division 1. You can't talk down or bad about your teammates because you know you want to go Division 1. You can't not bring the energy because the energy is not there from the collective because you want to go Division 1. Those are intangibles that coaches look at those levels for them to understand whether or not are you a good fit for their program. There's 6 guys on the court at a time, 9 to 10 that get used maximum during the course of a match. These Division 1 teams are maxed out at an 18 to 20 man roster, and that's women's and men's. A lot of those athletes also don't touch the floor as much as the next person. However, if you watch Division 1 matches and you don't just watch the gameplay, you watch their benches, men's and women's, whether they're getting an ace point, whether it's a kill, whether it's a block, their benches are going absolutely berserk because one, they want to be there. They are practicing with these guys and these girls every single day, early mornings, late nights. Some of these guys are roommates. Some of these guys have volleyball houses where they all live together. These are brothers. These are sisters. They build camaraderie and chemistry in order for each other to know that, listen, I'm here for you, you're here for me, and together we're going to win a championship. Whether you're getting all the minutes and I'm on the bench, I'm going to cheer for you always. You're going to see me. We can do a little chants. We can, like, I get a kill. You could turn around, look at me like that. We just look at each other like that. It's like, you're a dirty dog. Or like, cause again, when I mean, correct me if I'm wrong for my athletes out there, whether it's basketball, football, soccer, I don't really care what it is. Athletes in general, when you are doing something good on the field, on the court, on the ice, whatever it is, and you look at your bench and they're screaming their heads off, I don't know, for my younger athletes, doesn't that like turn your aura up a little bit? Like, I mean, it did for me when I was playing. Like, I would get a kill or a block, and I turn around, look at my bench, and I just go, they can't touch me, and my bench is screaming. They saying my name. Like, it's not about showboating. It's that I want to be great for my brothers on the sideline, for my brothers on the sideline, for my sisters on the sideline. Because when I get to do something good for my teammates and they're hyping me up and we're beating up on this team and then I get subbed out because my reps are over with and let the other guys get reps, I'm gonna chill the hell. I'm trolling the other team. What? My bench guys go in there and they get kills and they get blocks. What? I'm trolling the other team, man. I'm going crazy for the other team. I mean, not for the other team, but I'm going after them. I'm making sure that they know that they can't break what's happening over here, no matter who's on the floor. So you guys also have to understand, if you want to go Division One, you got to be a selfless player, and that's not with you just scoring the ball all the time. Hyping your teammates up and making that team environment something that the next guy wants to come into, and the next guy, and the next guy, and that's when you create a program. That's when you create a legacy. That's when you create a dynasty of a program. Because if you're not ready to go, if you don't have a lot of energy on the bench, on the sidelines, and your brothers and sisters are out there fighting for you, and then when you get out there, you guys are saying, hey, bench, why are we sitting down? Why are we not cheering the bench on? They're playing right now. It's because you didn't do the same for them. Right? So you guys have to understand what it takes to be a Division One athlete and understand what it takes to be a 24/7 division athlete. You can't just today scream your head off on the bench for your teammate and then come tomorrow, you're just, it's not my day, coach. I'm not feeling it. Leave that at the door, man. Leave that at the door, because at the end of the day, we got ESPN coming in here ready to record our game, and they're going to see you moping sad on the bench. You're going to be a sore loser on national television. Think about that. Think about that. Like, you get the grades, right? You know, you go to Penn State, you go to NJIT, you go to Louisville, you go to Texas. This is men and women's volleyball, right? And you make their teams, and you're not a team player because you're not playing. And we're playing Division One, and we got to go against Long Beach today, and we're playing on we're not only playing on the Big Ten, on the Big West network, we're also playing on ESPN. And then the camera gets panned to the bench, and I'm just sitting there moping because I'm not playing. You know what that makes you? You're a national sore loser. You're a national L teammate for my young ones out there, right? So you never want to be that player on the sideline who is moping about not seeing the court. Because have you go Division One, and your games are broadcast on ESPN1, ESPN2, ESPNU, right? And the camera gets panned to the bench, and you're sitting there, hands crossed, sitting down, not cheering your teammates on. You're going to stand out more than the guys and the girls that are cheering and doing different dances and songs and chants for whatever happened in the midst of that play. So, is it easy going Division One? It is easy as you make it. You have to be selfless, and you have to be selfless and a non-selfish person when it comes to you. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of yous on this big 18 to 20 man roster. But what makes you different? You know what I'm saying? What makes you different? What makes you stand out? Right? So again, map out every division and every area and every school that you guys have interest in. Make a plan to go visit those games and those programs. Because another thing, if you want to go Division One, you should go to games as well. And I know those games are a little costly. We're having to try to take a flight or drive or wherever, just because most of the Division One men's are on the Midwest to West Coast. But when Penn State is playing, tap in with Penn State. When NJIT is playing, tap in with NJIT. When Princeton is playing, tap in with Princeton. And this is just my Jersey schools, right? Go to New York, right? Go look at these other programs that are low major programs and see if you can turn their program up with the athlete that you are just not on the court, but off the court as well, right? And it's the same thing with Division 3. And the Division 3 is a lot cheaper to go watch games. So see the chemistry, see what these programs have to give. Because again, if you want to play in college, you have to study and do the homework on these colleges that you're interested in. And then you have to get your intangibles in check. Are you a team leader? Are you a team player? Do you help guys out on and off the court? Are you doing your job on and off the court? Are you upholding that title of a student athlete? These are the things. Not can I bounce a ball? Can I block a ball? Can I set a ball? Can I serve a ball? Coaches know you can do that. You're a college athlete. You're playing JUCO. You're playing high school. You're at another college. They've already saw your statistics and what you can do on the court already. Now it's time to see, okay, I already seen John play. I saw his stats. He's this and that. But now I've actually got to talk to John. I've actually got to see John when they're playing a low major team because I know he's going to be on the bench. I got to see what type of player John is. I know John can put the ball away. I know John can block. I know John can pass. But who is John? Will he benefit our program? Will he represent our program the right way when we have to do camps and clinics and advertisements and fundraisers and giving back to the community? Those are the things that Division I coaches look for. Not just what you can do on the court, but what can you do in order to enhance their program and to respect and represent their program in the right fashion. So that way it brings more and more athletes to their programs. It's a lot of things that you guys have to start thinking about when it comes to going Division I or Division 3. And it's not just about getting your skills in check. That is a good chunk of what is going to get you looked at as a college athlete. But then what else can you do for me? If I'm a Division I coach, for my 11 people who are in here, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a parent, whether you're a coach, whoever, just what I've been saying. If I'm a Division I coach, what are you going to come to me and bring on the table? This is going to be open conversation. You guys can just hit the comments right now because we are on our hour mark. So I am going to wrap up soon. But if I'm a Division I coach, right? Let's be a little interactive here, right? If I'm a Division I coach for any program, right? And I've already saw your stats. I've come to games, but we haven't gotten to speak, right? I haven't gotten to understand who you are. What are you going to do to seal that deal? What are you going to say? What are you going to offer me? What are you going to tell me that is going to make me say, yeah, I want you to come to our program based off of this conversation that we just had? You got to start thinking about these things because coaches know who you are as an athlete. As much as you may not think that, coaches know who you are as an athlete. I get so many players, girls and boys, that like when I go say, hey, so-and-so, or hey, what's up, so-and-so? I'm like, what? How do you know me? Like, how do you know my name? Especially when I play, when I have to go against different programs, when I have to also scout different programs, when I also have to recruit from different programs, I'm going to know who you are. Now, when I talk to you in person, who are you really? I've looked at your stats. I'm on the computer. I'm typing up your stats. I know what you do for programs on the court. But who are you? What are you going to do for my program outside of volleyball? How are you going to achieve the student aspect of the title student athlete? How are you going to show leadership skills without just telling me, yeah, I'm going to just be a leader? Those are the things that are going to take you to becoming a Division I athlete. And really take those things in and take them with a grain of salt and say, hey, listen, this is what I have to do. So we got to do it today. If you want to be a champion, you have to train like a champion today. You have to talk like a champion. You have to act like a champion. You have to be a champion without having the ring on your finger or hosting the trophy up with the legitimacy of being a champion. If you want to be a Division I athlete, then you have to talk like a Division I athlete, you have to move like a Division I athlete, and you have to be a Division I athlete. Student athlete. And it has to happen today. If you're in the weight room consistently, if you're trying to get stronger, you're trying to get faster, you're trying to get more lateral, you're trying to get more vertical, then don't hit the gym today after this podcast. Do it for the rest of the week. Then come Saturday, it's the weekend, I can take a break. Because your break time is someone's great time. I want you guys to, I'm going to repeat that. Your break time is someone's great time because your break time is for rest. But someone's great time is for them to be the best. I hope that doesn't go over your heads, guys. Write that down if you need to. But your break time is someone's great time because your break time is your time for rest. But then someone's great time is their time for them to be the best. So really think about that. Really think about that. Take it with a grain of salt and lock in. Tell all my players that all the time. Lock in time is not now, but right now. You don't get any more chances. Okay, yeah, tomorrow's going to be better. Tomorrow's going to be better. Tomorrow's going to be better. Because who knows if tomorrow is granted to us? Who knows if we will have tomorrow to be great? So you have to take today to start your greatness, the journey of being great. So that way, when greatness is knocking on the door, all you got to do is let it in, and now you are amongst the greatness of all great, and that is you. So guys, really just start understanding. This is for my younger athletes, right? Understand what it takes to really be at that level. Understand your job. Understand what it is that you have to take care of before you reach that greatness, right? And the world is yours. The world is really yours. I don't want anyone to tell you otherwise, right? But if you want to be a Division I athlete, start getting your intangibles in check. Start getting those outside of the court things in check. If the grades are good, then continue to keep them good. Right? If your attitude is good, continue to keep it good. And it's hard to not let things bother you and to knock you down, especially when life does life. But then how strong of a soldier and a warrior are you? A soldier and a warrior of greatness. How strong are you when you let the obstacles of life knock you down? How strong are you? Because when you do go Division I, which most of my athletes that are in here, I believe that you will. I have a couple of high school athletes that I've gotten to coach against and coach. I've got a couple of college athletes in here that I get to coach every single day. And you all give me the pleasure of being a greater coach. You really do. Whether you've gone against me and you've seen me coach, or you've gotten coached by me, you really made me a greater coach, right? So understand and ask yourselves, what more do I have to do in order to be that athlete, that high major, high level, setting the standard always athlete? And then the world is yours. Start writing a list of colleges that you have in mind down. Start writing those goals, right? And again, you make the road map. You are here. The goal is here. And everything in between is what you have to focus on next, right? The goal is here. Keep the goal there. Keep where you are starting from. And each day, don't say, no, I gotta go D1, I gotta go D1, I gotta go D1. Mm-mm. Every day you should say, I know I'm going D1. And this garbage that I'm doing right now with just playing the game or just sitting on the phone, eating chips and all this garbage, when I could be at somebody's gym getting reps, when I could be at somebody's weight room getting stronger, when I could be asking my teammates, let's go get runs. Always check yourself, guys. Check yourself with the things that you are doing in your day-to-day life, because we unconsciously let these days go on and on and on without succeeding the greatness that we want to achieve. So really get those intangibles in check, guys, because greatness is in the palm of your hands. No one can tell you that you won't be great. They can, because they have the power of speech to do so, but they are never going to be correct with that statement, ever. So you take the power and you run with it. You get your intangibles in check. You write down a list. You put post-it notes on your wall like I do over here. And this is my wall of greatness, if you guys haven't noticed. My varsity team, accolades that I made in college. That's just my journey of volleyball. My freshman boys last year with the greatness that they achieved. That's my second place county medal. This was from my senior night of college. And this was my first championship as a coach. And I get to look at this wall every single day, because those things and those people are my purpose as a coach in order to get to the Division I level and the pro level of coaching. The end goal will never be without those people and those things. Right? So guys, this is it for me in today's podcast. Like I said, we do have a scrimmage today at UCNJ, also known as Union County College in Cranford, New Jersey. If you guys are not doing anything at 6 p.m. in the next 2 hours, show up, support us. It's free of charge. I will be there if you guys want to see me, have questions for me, things like that. And then following after that, we have an open gym for young high school athletes, juniors, seniors, and above. For women's players only. So come out and support us. Come out and support us today. But again, guys, as I wrap up this podcast, I want you guys to do 3 things for me. 3 things when you guys are on your journey to going to play in college, right? Check your intangibles and check them real good, right? Make your roadmap to where you want to go. And the last thing is to be confident in everything and all things that you do with your journey of greatness. Don't doubt yourself. Don't knock yourself. Be confident in everything you do, because it's you versus you on the journey of being great. Remember, your break is someone's great. Your time to rest is someone's time to be the best. All right. Without further ado, this is the end of the podcast. If you guys have any questions for me, you guys can hit the Q&A box. It is the thought bubble box with the question mark. And if you have any question that I did not answer in this portion of the podcast, you can go ahead and throw any questions in that box for me. I will answer them. I'll give you guys the next 5 minutes to do so. And I will be getting off at, I was going to be 4:15. I was 4:16. But if you guys have no questions, again, this was episode 2 of the In Volley We Trust podcast. I thank you guys again for joining. I thank you guys for always supporting. And again, spread the word to your friends, loved ones. This is a volleyball podcast, but it's not just for volleyball players. So again, I really appreciate you guys for coming out today, and having a great commentary in the chat. If you guys have any questions, again, feel free to hit the Q&A box. If not, always feel free to DM me, and I will get to you as fast as possible. My college guys can tell you I'm horrible when it comes to responding, and they still fail to realize that I'm a jack of all trades when it comes to 4 teams. But I will do my very best to get back to your message, whatever you ask me. I'll do my very best to answer it as best as possible. But also, and this also shows yourself to me and who you are. I know I have a lot of followers. I haven't gotten a follow back yet. Just a lot of athletes as well. But pick my brain. If you guys have any questions, I'm here for it. If you guys need any trainings, any open gyms, any clinics, camps, things like that, I'm here for it all. But as we go on 413, I don't think we have any questions. So we can wrap this one up today. Again, I appreciate you all. Tune in next week on Wednesday, same place, different time, perhaps. And without further ado, we're going to conclude the In Volley We Trust episode 2 to this year's Coach Spigus podcast. I appreciate you guys. Hope to see some of you guys soon at our scrimmage. And if not, I hope to talk to a lot of you soon. All right. Again, you guys can check out my coach's page for this podcast if you missed it, or if you want to send it out to anybody. You can also go on to my YouTube page. That is Spikas World, Spikas World. And I will drop the full podcast there as well. But like I said, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and prepare myself to hit the road, and prepare ourselves for this scrimmage tonight. All right. Thank you. Love you all. And again, you have the keys to greatness. So go ahead and just be great. I'll see you guys soon. Coach Spiker is out. Peace.